All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Saturday, November 11th, 11/11. Hopefully we're lucky today. We got a 4-game NBA slate to jump into in today's video. Like we always do, we're gonna go through each and every one of these games. I'm gonna give you my lean on the spread, as well as my lean on the total, but my final plays, what we're actually rolling with myself, what counts towards the record, those plays will be in the pinned comment. And man, I feel like the mantra these last couple weeks or last week and a half or so has been death by 1,000 paper cuts. And yet again, that's what happens. We go 2 and 3 last night, but we were 1 Jordan Poole point away from a positive night. But nonetheless, Celtics cover for us. The Lakers and Suns go way over. The Jazz Grizzlies, theirs was our first loss. Suns minus 3.5, our second loss. And then the same game parlay, our third loss here in the Hornets and Wizards game. Hayward wipes the floor. We cash that easily, right? Williams gets his 10 plus points easily. Gafford gives us 10. We needed 5. And then Poole finishes with 14 freaking points. Jordan Poole, 14 points. He went 1 of like 5 or 6 from 3. He had 14 points with like 4 minutes to go too. I was like, just get one more bucket, buddy. Come on. No. So Jordan Poole as close as can be to being banned because, again, that would have changed the entire night around. And same game parlays have been sort of where our bread and butter has been. Say what you want about our final plays so far. Same game parlays we have been cashing on. And speaking of the final plays, if you watch yesterday's video back, we crushed the leans. Like, we crushed them. If I made more of the leans final plays, we would have a blowout winning night, right? So I do think that we're going to change up. I don't like to change up processes too much, especially early on in the year. Like, I don't want to get scared. We got to trust the process, right? But I do think I'm being a little too selective of the final plays. So expect more quantity down there in the next week or so, because again, we're trying, if this is the bar for our final plays, all these are leans, right? And we got to get this to make it a final play. I think we may need to lower that bar because we're kind of hitting right in that range to give you guys like a visual. So keep an eye on the pinned comment to see if there is more volume within the next couple days here in terms of final plays. Because again, the leans, we're hitting plenty of them. Like the next 2 picks yesterday that were going to be final plays, but they just didn't quite make it. Mavs -2 and the over in that game. Both of those easy cashes, right? So we have to drop that bar just a little bit and start accepting a few more plays into the final plays. But nonetheless, that's just me complaining and I guess sounds like giving it an excuse, but it's really not. It's more of a strategy. But let's go ahead and talk about the ride of the day from yesterday. Bull says I'm 6-1 so far. Hit me. And I was like, all right, bet. I hit you. Tyrese Maxey only finishes with 2 threes. I like the spot. I like the play. Maxey over 2.5 threes, I do think is a good call, but it does not come through for Bull there. So 6-2 now in ride of the days, but that's still a damn good record. Not to tip anyone's nose at that. You know what I mean? It just so happens we jumped on board in a loss, but 6-2 record so far with the ride of the days is still impressive there. If you guys do want to be the ride of the day, all you got to use is hashtag ride of the day in the comments. Give me an absolute banger. Give me a lock, because now it's a couple days in a row where the ride of the day does not come through, right? The one that we actually pick. And if you want to explain and give me a reason why, then I might be more likely to pick yours, right? So go ahead and leave those in the comments. You got to use the hashtag ride of the day and I'll pick something that I like. But let's go ahead and jump into game number 1 of this slate. Guys, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button as well. Appreciate you guys sticking with me even in these dark times. Again, we're not having, like, we've had a couple of them, but we're not having the awful nights. It's just, we just can't get over that level, you know, where I think our percentage this year so far is 48%, which that deserves a womp bump. That's 10 points below what we finished the NBA season at last year at 58%. But let's go ahead and jump into Orlando taking on Milwaukee now. I'm on the fence in this one just because we're waiting out the Lillard status. So as of right now, Lillard is questionable. If he plays, I do like Milwaukee. I think they're due for the win here, coming off of a close game, but a bad loss to Indiana. They definitely could have pulled that one out, but there was no Lillard there, right? In Orlando, maybe starting to slow down a little bit here in terms of winning games. They're 4-4 on the year, 6-2 against the spread, which is impressive, but 2 losses in a row. Now, they kept the game close against Atlanta, and I give Orlando credit. Like, I've been kind of saying that they're really sneaky, underrated defensive team, and I do think that they have the guys in Banchero and, you know, no Wendell Carter today, but they do have the guys that can make things difficult, I guess, for Giannis, but I just don't necessarily like them only getting 3.5 points here. Like, again, if Lillard plays, I think the Bucks pull this one out. If Lillard doesn't play and he's not a go, I have no problem looking at Orlando, but that's kind of where I'm waiting on that news to make a final play here. In terms of the total, I really don't think that 232 is right. I should say I think 232 is a little bit too high in this spot, just given the fact that we've seen these two teams, the way they've been playing this year. The Magic have a good defense, like I said, and this Bucks team, it's not like they've been the most efficient offense, right? 10th in field goal percentage. That's fine. It's top 10, but nothing crazy. They're just not shooting all that much. They're attempting the fewest shots in the league here through the season. Now on the road, they do shoot a little bit more. They're 24th in rank there, but nonetheless, I just don't see this game being like that high of a pace. I see it finishing maybe in the late 220s, which gives us a little bit of margin there. So I'll go ahead and lean towards the under in this spot as well. Next up, we have Boston hosting Toronto. Boston coming off the win yesterday against Brooklyn. One of our final plays, they do easily win that game 121-107. Toronto hasn't played in a few days here, coming off a nice win against Dallas. What was that, Wednesday night, I believe? I will say that, this Boston team, I think, is on another level than Toronto. 8 points is a lot to lay here, but I don't really think it's, I get it. Toronto just competed with Dallas, who's also a good team. They beat the Spurs by, 8 or 7 points, something like that. But I don't necessarily think that either one of those teams are Boston-esque. So though they're on a back-to-back, that stings. I still like the Boston Celtics in this spot, but my main lean, like in terms of final play, I think this one's definitely in there, is going to be the over 222. You have a Celtics team that when at home, they're attempting plenty of shots here. Actually, just overall on the season, right? Field goal attempts, I think that they're top 5, but when at home, they're attempting more shots than anyone else. Number 1 ranked team in field goal attempts, number 2 in terms of field goal makes. And this is a Toronto offense that 13th in field goal attempts as well. Like, you think of Toronto as a defensive, non-high-paced team, but they're not necessarily playing all that slow, and we saw it against that that Dallas Mavs game, right? Like, this is a Toronto team that in that spot, you'd think, okay, well, the Mavs are going to run away with it because Toronto can't keep up. Well, now you have 2 games in a row where the Raptors scored 123 and 127. They can clearly play fast. That much is at least clear here. In terms of injuries, Al Horford's questionable. I don't think that that's going to impact the pace all that much. Achua's he's been out. He's out as well here. In this game for Toronto. But again, I like the pace here. I think these teams run. Yes, we liked the same exact spot with the Celtics Sixers a couple nights back, and that looked like it was going to cash, and all of a sudden it just slows down in the third quarter. But hopefully that isn't the case here, because one of my favorite spots on today's slate is the over in this spot. All right, guys, before we get to the back half of the slate here, I want to talk to you about OddsJam. If you haven't used OddsJam yet, you can get 7 days free over on the tool. If you don't know what it is, well, it does everything. There's a plethora, yes, vocab word, plethora of tools on this site that can help people like you and me beat the sportsbooks, mainly mathematically dismantling sportsbooks. For example, the positive EV screen that they have, which I'll jump to right now. You could see all of the, if we could get it up. Well, we don't have that set up. But anyways, the positive EV screen, apologies for that OddsJam. Also, don't kill me for butchering this one. But the positive EV screen, pretty much being able to go ahead and get the best lines out there. Why would you buy a car for 20 grand if you could walk down the street, get it for 10 grand, right? And you'd know that that is the lowest price out there through OddsJam, because they're telling you all the prices of all the sportsbooks. They also have a fantasy optimizer if you're on Prize Picks that breaks down to the level of percentage what the chance is to hit, and arbitrage betting. I made a video on that a while back, guys. Go ahead and check out OddsJam. I'd love to be able to show you a couple things, but we do not have the slides set up here. But nonetheless, OddsJam, you get 7 days free, link in the pinned comment, as well as a 25% off code, Guy Boston, if you choose to go ahead and continue with your subscription. All right, Atlanta hosting Miami in this spot. I do like the home team. I like Atlanta. I think that they're going to play a little bit faster than Miami would like to here, which is going to give them an edge. And 4.5 points isn't all that much to ask for either, so I am going to lean towards Atlanta here. They're coming off, again, a win against the Orlando Magic. They were 3.5 point favorites there. They only win by 1, so they did not cover, but that over hit fairly easily, right? So I think that this is a good spot for a team that plays, relatively fast, a top 10 pace team in Atlanta. For them to be able to kind of, match where or not match, but kind of exceed where Miami likes to run. This is a Miami team that's shooting the 3rd fewest shots per game, right? Which is a decent way of looking at pace. They're not making their shots either, which is tough because they're playing slow. So if Atlanta gets them out of rhythm whatsoever, they may shoot more shots than they normally do. And by doing so, field goal percentage and their makes, they might miss more shots than normal as well. Atlanta, from a defensive perspective, isn't all that great. So I am also going to lean towards the over here, even though I just got finished saying that I don't think Miami makes as many shots. But if the pace gets pushed in this game, Miami should at least get a few easy baskets, right? Because this is not a good Atlanta offense. So I'll take the over as well as the Hawks in this spot. We just have the caveat that, not the caveat, but the warning and being cautious of, well, Miami is not the most efficient scoring team right now. So just because there's more quantity doesn't mean there's going to be more quality. But I guess we're going to cross our hearts and hope to die that Miami can make some shots here, because I think this one gets into the 230s. But Atlanta -4.5 because of the pace. I think they run Miami out of the gym, as well as the over in this spot. That's going to be my two leans in this one. Warriors taking on the Cavs. I think the Warriors crush this game. I do. I think that this is such a good spot for them. In terms of a total 223.5, I don't have much of a feel here. I see this one finishing right around the 220 to 225 mark, which that's damn near smack dab in the middle. So no real play in the total here, but I think the Warriors just, they're gonna be a better team here. They're coming off a loss against Denver, but they kept that game close, right? They covered against the spread against Denver in that loss. And this Cleveland team, I'm not really sure what to make of them just yet. Their last game was against OKC. They were 2-point favorites, I believe, or 3-point favorites, something like that. They lose by 8 points here. On the road, they're 2-2. This Golden State team, has been on the road for quite some time here. 1, 2, 4 games in a row, Golden State's been on the road, and 7 of their last 8 days have been on the road. So this is a team that is ready to sit back and go, we're home, we're on our own floor, right? And I love this spot for them as Cleveland. This is the middle of their road trip. So they just played in OKC. Then I think it's either tomorrow or the next day they go to Sacramento, then to Portland. Like, this is a West Coast trip for them, whereas Golden State's coming back home. So give me Golden State. I think they could win this one by double digits. But again, I haven't been hitting it or reading these spots enough to go out there and take an alternate line. Like Alti Ev is not coming out in this game. I might throw maybe like a small unit percentage on like Golden State -7.5 for some plus money, but we might just take what we have, right? Like, don't bite the hand that feeds you. We don't have to get ultra crazy here. But yeah, Golden State -4, I think, is the spot. Like I said, the total, I could see this one being a slow pace game. I could see it being a fast paced game. We've already seen these teams play. The Cavs did win that one, and because we've had so few, I remember that win that we had because we read the line. But I think Golden State is in a great spot to take this one as well. So guys, it's gonna wrap it up for today's picks. Again, we're gonna try and be better. We got to be better, and we're working on it. But like I said, I do think a little tweak and a little twist to the process here is that we're gonna be a little bit less selective. Still, obviously, these are all plays that I've researched one on. Even all these leans, like, you're getting a million picks a day for free, right? But in terms of my record, so the fact of the matter, the concrete evidence that we can prove good or bad of a season on, those plays, I think I got to just let a couple more in. Don't be as exclusive, right? So we shall see how that goes. But yeah, we only have 4 games on the slate. I do like a few different spots, so keep an eye on that pinned comment, guys, and I'll let you guys know what we end up rolling with. But you guys have been super supportive, even through the wins and the losses. I do wear a hat that says fade me and a shirt that says fade me in damn near every video, so we're not taking this like too seriously when you guys are hating in the comments and whatnot. Like, I get it. That's kind of the whole point of the brand. But nonetheless, we don't need to ramble anymore. Thanks for your support. We'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, peace out.